Okay, the system is now connected. Battery, display, controls, motor. So now we are ready to test. Okay, let's turn on. So now we start the application and we can proceed with the communication setup between the controller and the phone. Let's scan the devices. And we press connect. Now you can see received frames. The number is increasing, so that means that the controller and the application, they are communicating. Now at first let's get rid of this beeping noise. We can go to parameters, open professional, and here we will now select the temperature sensor. It's already selected the correct one. Now we'll go to graph. We get the system OK, exit learn. Now it's the system actually now it's ready to auto learn. So what we'll do, we'll twist the throttle. So now we are in auto learn mode. So now we will twist the throttle and hold it until the motor completes the rotation. It will rotate in one direction, then another direction, and then it will stop. So the bike or the motor needs to be suspended, that can move freely. Now it stops and it goes other way. Hold the throttle, don't let it go. Wait. Okay, now it stopped. Now it starts one beep and you release the throttle. That's it. Auto learn complete. Oh, so the auto learn is now complete. It's okay. We got a system OK sign here. And now let's go back to parameters. Now we will set up all the parameters. So let's proceed with the angle detect. Okay, temperature sensor is already selected, the correct one. Phase offset is what the auto learn learned. Now for the motor we will use power pair 16. This is for the motor that we are using. Motor direction we will put the other direction because now it's spinning backwards. Rated speed, this is the rated speed of the motor, so check the manufacturer data. In our case is 650. Rated voltage, rated power, in our case we'll put 5000. Maximum speed, this is the maximum speed, let's say, allowed in this for this motor. We will put in 1050 with the field weakening on. And back speed, let's put in 200 RPM, so we'll get some decent reverse speed. Okay, maximum line current, we will leave it to 200 amps. This is actually the limit of this controller. And maximum phase current is 450. This is for the controller ND72450 amp controller. Throttle response, we'll put it on sport. Throttle acceleration we will put to maximum, so it will be really responsive, snappy. Boost current line, you can just use the max line current, the same values, but because actually we will not use the boost, because on the bike it's really strange to have one button which launches you into the, I don't know, it's not a very useful feature. Okay, let's go forward. Then leave it the weak characteristic. This is for field weakening, we leave it on fast. Weakening response also leave it as it is. Throttle deceleration speed also 224. Release throttle, this is okay if it's on 0. Throttle voltage we will put 1.2, so we have a little bit more margin to unwanted throttle command. So, and the high signal we'll put on 3.6. Next, ratios in speed. These ratios are determining how much power you are allowing to get to the motor for different RPM ranges. So I don't know, if you don't want at lower RPMs too much power or not so much, you can put in the values which are less than 100%. This might be useful in some cases when you, I don't know, when you don't want to burn your motor at lower RPM where the efficiency of the motor is not so high. So you can, especially if you are climbing uphill, and so the throttle at lower RPMs when the efficiency of the motor is low is less. So you can prevent overheating by these parameters. Otherwise you just leave it everything to 100. We'll put in 200 everything. Okay, we can set it up to 1000. Okay, let's do it because the engine, the motor will not spin higher, so we don't need to go higher. Limit speed, again, as we set it up 150. This is the limit speed. Beyond that, the motor will not spin. So here we have ratios in gear. This is here you can determine how much percent of the power of the maximum setup you have on the third and on the other gears. So for the low speed, for the gear 1, let's put in 60%. Also for the gear 1, for the phase current, also 60%. And also let's lower the speed to around 600 RPM. This will reduce the end speed. For the gear number 2, we'll set 80%. 80% also for the phase current, and speed will be limited to 900 RPM. Okay, here is now regeneration setup, energy regenerate. First let's set up the current that we allow back to the battery, and the maximum of this current, which is, let's say, set it up to 50. Let's set up the rated amp hours of the battery. Free throttle like this. Okay, let's set up also the regen percentage. Here you have to be a little bit more conservative, just 5% perhaps, or 10-15% maximum at lower RPM, because this the engine brake on this with this controller is really brutal, so you don't need so high values. You can start with low values and then rise them as you go. With higher RPM you allow more. So it works like this. You can start with these values and then you can adjust them. Or here you can see the display setup values. At the moment we leave them as they are. Okay, over voltage protect 90 volts. Okay, for the 72 nominal voltage battery. So but here you can also set up the low voltage protect. This will set up the value at which the controller will stop working due to the discharged battery. So you can leave it like this. Here, if you want to enable the regen, we have to select the EABS when brake valid. So now we selected the number 2 EABS. That means that whenever we'll press the brakes on the levers or press our regen button, the regen and engine brake will engage. Here you have also response mode of the regen braking. We suggest to leave it on normal because it's smoother than racing. Racing is a little bit aggressive. Depend on your setup or wishes. But that's how we do it. We disable the cruise function and we have the parking function enabled. So But now we'll have to determine the parking function. So now I pressed the discover P function. That means now I have to press the button on the left command of the handlebar. So I will press the P once, 2 times. Okay, that's okay. Confirm. And now we have the parking enabling function on the P button. Okay, we will also disable the auto return to P function. We don't need it. So now whenever we turn off the bike and turn it on again, the bike will always be in parked function. So we'll not be able to move until we press the P button. And now when you are done, you have to press the save. This will save. Okay, save. You hear the beeping noise. Turn it back on and you will see that we are in park position. So the throttle is not active. So to activate it, the safety feature, you have to press the P. When I press P, I'm in the right mode that is selected.